Alrighty, welcome back. And so far, we've started our first race here, doing the Lakeside Loop race in Gadarin Fields. This race isn't necessary. I mean, if you're building your own race, fine. I just did this one because it was already predefined, and it's a looping race, so we were able to set up our final node for a loop. Um, and right now, if you go to the theme builder, you'll see that every checkpoint is laid out exactly as we did. So if you go to each cog here, index 1, that's our start, the very start. Index 2 would be the next one red, and it's also red for the top of the screen. This one's index 3, this one's the right side of the screen. So anything on the right side of the screen. So if I were to, but I could easily change it so I can make like this one here. If I said right, if I also said this was right side of the screen, but it's index 4. It comes after index 3. They're both right side. If I look now, then now we have two segments on the right side of the screen, one right after the next. So, and because the order 1, 2, 3, 4, uh, but I'm going to move number 4 back to the bottom. So if I go back here and say, uh, oops, let's make sure we clicked on that. Not right, we'll change to bottom there. There we go. And we'll go back to our theme editor here, our theme builder, and it's back to the bottom here. So we're not going to worry about building a theme yet. Right now, what I'm more concerned about is fine tuning the race itself. You don't have to actually fine tune it yet. I would prefer building the theme first, but I want to show you how to fine tune it since the controls are already in the open. Over here on the theme builder, flow map tuning is the first thing you'll do. So the first and foremost is our global admin output. These controls can be adjusted in admin as well, but it's better to set it up beforehand because you'll be able to visualize it the exact same way, and you don't have to worry. You can do it while you're building your theme at the same time. Like I can adjust the global scale of everything, up and down. It doesn't change the size of the actual nodes themselves or the lines. It just changes the scale of the visual area. So if I were to just, let's say 0.95, that's fine. Uh, Offset X obviously goes left and right. This goes up and down for offset Y. Um, Node text, you can shrink or grow all of the text for the nodes. And then you have racer text, but we don't have a way of showing the racer in here yet. That will come later. But right now, that's pretty much your standard global settings. Um, You can actually view your output live if you click the OBS output button here. And if I do that, all right. And so once you click that, you'll see this browser window here, and it's showing you exactly what you would see here. But oops, sorry about that. But you're going to use this link right here. If I was to just type /OBS, that's going to give you a transparent overlay. So you can put that within OBS as a browser scene object, so you can actually layer it on top of your video feed for live output. But this is going to help you fine tune things. So if I was to let me just shrink this sucker down here. Whoopsie. We'll put you aside here. I know it's not the most optimal setup. I'm just going to move everything over. Let's get our browser back up here. Like let's say you had it exactly scaled to your window. You want to have you can set up your output in OBS. Actually, let me go ahead and do that right now. Let's get OBS. All right, I'm gonna bring it down here. Okay, and then this is we're using a 1080p output, but you want to scale your browser to whatever your final result is going to be. That way you can actually see a true scale of everything. So if I did 4K, I don't want to double everything, like the thickness of these lines. Everything would have to be doubled. But this is going to help us with a general layout. So if you're looking inside here, like let's say um, if I select the top section here, I can adjust the actual height of the top section just by let's go to the Y. If I go click down, it's backwards. There's a live output there. It's going to happen every so often. And you can keep moving it until in the actual view there, it's lined up pretty close. You know what will make it easier to tell if it's actually aligned is we can go back to our telemetry view here, and we can actually connect the end of one segment to the start of another. And what that does is it creates a connection point, which you're not going to have to do all the time. I'd never had this feature before when we were doing the live race for SAB, but being able to connect like that is a huge deal. Section 4, we don't need to go there because that's actually the end of the race. I do like to keep a slight gap, so we'll go back into the theme builder here. Yeah, we're going to keep offsetting Y for this section. So our top section, everything in the top section, we can just eyeball it until it's about there. All right, and I'll go down one more, just come on, 2 more, 35. Good, and then our bottom one as well. We're going to move our bottom section. All right, so that's too far. Go back down. Whoopsie. 35 is good. That's close enough. It's not perfect, but now you actually have it attached. I'm going to scale this one up a little bit too. And then we're going to move it to the left just a tad. And we'll go, there we go. Perfect, just like that. And that top one, we're going to go up a little more. We'll say, that looks good to me. All right, so we actually have a full flow here from bottom to everywhere. And so that's the end of that segment. I should have made that one over a little more. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make it so all of our end segments are at the corners. I don't like how this one's not at the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top one. We're going to scale it up. And then we're just going to shift her on over on X until she sits about kind of on top. Alrighty. All right, and then we're going to take our right section here, and we're going to scale it down just a little more, and then we're going to drop her in Y. We're going to go down. I guess you can just hold it too. I didn't really think about doing that. But we'll go back one. There it is, and that looks like a solid race. Now we have all the end of our segments there, because I don't want to show those actually. So now, with that, as we know it's set up the way it's supposed to be, square-wise in here, and that's just by tuning just the sections and the global. So I mean, we can always go back to global. We can even make it smaller, make the whole thing smaller to fit better. Or bigger, it doesn't matter what you want. It's all up to you. 100% up to you what you want to do with it. So here's what I want to do. I would like to. I'm going to take the starting checkpoint here. I wonder if it will let me do it. Let me go over here, section 2. And we're going to move you over like so. Oops, that was segment 1. My bad. We're going to say 0. And we're going to take the segment 2. And we're going to move this over like 100. Not quite. We're just gonna. All right, it's got a weird effect to it. We're gonna leave it at 0. What's it like -20? That'll work. That'll work. All right, that's fine. It doesn't matter. We can always adjust it later. But yeah, let's go. We can move OBS. I'm gonna close it because it's a little faster when we don't. Let's go full screen. So even though it looks funky on here a little bit with like the corners and where they're sitting, you know for a fact that it's sitting correctly on your screen. Those lines are exactly as they should be for the output, and you can always check it later. But for the most part, that is about it for tuning. And that's going to save out. Before I forget, let's go back to your telemetry and let's save this out. We're going to save this out onto the desktop here. And we're just going to make a new folder, just a tutorial folder. That way we don't lose it. And we're going to call this Lakeside Loop Flow Map. And then we'll call it v1. That way we just know we have it, the version of it up. And so you can always load this bad boy up whenever you're ready. But for now, let's just go ahead and go on to our back to our theme builder here. And like I said before, you can't click any of these nodes here because there's no actual theme attached to it yet. So let's go ahead and add a theme to it. We can build a theme however we want. Let's go ahead and say new theme. Let's just call it my what do we call it? First theme. You can call it whatever you want. I don't care. I'm just going to drop it right in the tutorial folder. I'm going to make a new folder in there and call it themes. Inside themes, we're going to say create theme, and all right. And so with that, okay, so there's our plan RF file, and here's our themes. It went ahead and put my first theme as well as my first theme folder. My first theme folder is where you're going to store all of your icons for everything. But if you open up the actual theme, this is the part that we had to edit by hand before. It's pretty much everything about your theme. You have to go in, you have to find all the individual node IDs, segment IDs, everything, and just input them all here to do overrides and all that. But no more, no more, I said. Let's build a new system so that everything works together. So now that we have that, we can actually touch these buttons now. We can touch the butts and get, let's say import icons. We want to add some icons to this. So I'm just going to add a couple that I have sitting around. So if I go to my admin themes, I already had some from SAB. Actually, let me go up and get let's get that star, that cool little star there. Yeah, and let's import some more icons here. Let's go up low. Let's go back to the SAB one. Let's get this cool cloud and this fish. Let's do the sling. Let's do the worm. I like the worm. That's a cool guy. No, I want the Yeti. We'll do both. All right. So we imported all those guys, and what happened is they actually got moved. Oopsie, that guy should be shut. Right. Close the folder. There it is. So inside our folder now, we have all those icons have been copied over from wherever you have them. You want to have 500 by 500 transparent with a centered image. So it's easy. It just sits where it's supposed to sit. You can adjust it later, obviously, but let's go ahead. And now that we have all that, the imported icons, you'll notice that our entire section here no longer just has tuning. It says default theme settings. So let's close the tuning section here so we can actually get a look at everything. Split, you don't have to worry about. Another tutorial I'll explain splits. I should probably explain it right now, actually. If I was to say, let's have another segment in here, and I just had some random checkpoints, let's say I had a part of the race that broke off into 2 branches, 3 branches, doesn't matter how many branches you want. You would add a split node. What this does is it gives you 2 outputs, and you'll hit the path CP. That's going to give you a separate path. Click it again here, it's going to give you another path. If you click it again, it's going to give you another path, and you can adjust where they go. But I just do 2 for now. You would take that, give it however many checkpoints along that path with the path CP, boom, boom, like that. And say this one had like 3 checkpoints within it, but with a shorter path, a longer path with only 3 checkpoints. You can now take this first one, say converge, connect the other one to it, and now you converged it. And then you can do whatever checkpoints you want, and then your end of segment. So pretty much you're setting up a split in the race. You're going to create a double branch that comes off the race where racers will flow to. Um, it just helps with some of the longer races, especially in SAB, as you probably saw the video, we have a ton of splits, lots of splits, lots of options for people to run along. But other than that, that's not important for this because most races are not going to use splits. Most are going to be straightforward, but it's here if you need it. So everything in here is now garbage. So, but now you know what it is. Now you know exactly what a split is in a race. So if I was to go back to my theme builder here, the split would show up as a different color on the race, but we don't need it because it's only same color as this guy right here. Also, we have our shadow. We can turn on or off the shadow. We'll turn it off for now. We can always put it back on later. And then that's about it. So you can set your default icons here. So if I wanted a default start icon, I could set all the defaults up here. I can say, oh, I want all my start buttons to be this, or all my checkpoints to be this, all my splits and all the converges, everything. You want it to be a certain way, make it that certain way. It doesn't matter. I made the line thickness really thick there, so now I don't believe in going below 3, but you can actually take it down to 1 if you want. It's hard to see on screen, but 3 is perfect. So let's go ahead and add a couple here. Let's say we want our final or slash boss image here. Let's just now select it. Let's make that the star right here. That's our final image, and we can actually let's do an override on that image on that node actually, because I don't like where the text is. It's sitting right on top of it there, kind of ugly. So if I were to go to my node type override and say final boss and we hit apply, it's going to add in our default section here a node overrides. So let's go ahead and whoa, that's the problem, the culprit there. That's what happened before. Don't put your mouse over and scroll your wheel. Bad idea. If we turn off those, now we can see just the overrides. So I mean, we can change the image here too, which is pointless. I don't know why I did that. That was an accident, but now you have if you want to change the image, you can do it now, or back at the other place. Doesn't matter. So the node image, you can make the node invisible. Doesn't matter. You can make the text invisible. Doesn't matter. But because we did the override on the text here, we can actually now move our title offset. And I'm going to put it up a little higher. I'm going to make the text a little bigger. We're going to make that sucker big. I want to make that let's make it like 1.25. There we go. I want to be able to see it. All right, and that's where it sits, right there, right below the star. And then this guy is fine. We'll say it's fine right above the star right there, the lakeside loop start. Then we're going to take we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to our node type overrides, and we're going to say all of our endpoints here. Get those. So we'll say all of the ends. We don't want them to have titles. We want to hide all the titles and the ends there. Doesn't matter. We're going to do the same thing with node type overrides. We're going to say checkpoints. We're going to do the same thing here. I want to get rid of titles there for all of our checkpoints. Now we're starting to look a little clean here. What doesn't look clean is how these start ones also have it, but I don't want to lose this start one here. So what do? I can do a segment override, which is going to do everything in a segment that I've selected everything's going to be overridden in there. Or I can simply just do a node override. Select a node, which you can now do, by the way, and hit node override. And you'll see a little 1 here. That means you only have one node selected. You can actually edit multiple at the same time. So I want to make the title invisible. All right. Same thing with, let's say we want this node and also, oopsie, shift select. There we go. We have 2 nodes selected, node override. See how it says 2? Because you have 2 nodes selected, but I can do them at the same time. So now they both lost that. We don't have to worry about it. All done. The word segment and the side are not going to show up in the final render, so I'm not worried about those. But this is exactly how you work on the theme right here. You go through to each one, and you can do little things like if I want this node here, node override. Let's just make that node have. Let's give it a cloud here, okay? And then we can disable the title, or if you gave it. That's CP8. So what we can do is we can actually go back to our telemetry here, find CP8. Let's say happy cloud. Let's do that. Then we're going to go back to our theme builder. And there it is, happy cloud. Now I can go back in here and we can change the title offset Y. And then when we open up like OBS, now if you check it out here, that's looking good already. I mean, there's so much more you can do. I mean, we can do cool effects with the shadow. I even did I've made cool like glow effects and stuff. Let's go to Like let's say I want the last section here. Let's say I do a segment override in this last section. Look at that. We can change the color of the line. Let's make that sucker like red. Okay, we're gonna make that. You run along the red line to the very end. All right, and then the rest of it you can have it as normal as you want, but that's just how it is. So you have the red one there. Let's go ahead and let's do our theme settings here. Go down to our shadow. Turn that shadow back on. We're gonna make that shadow, let's say like 0.8. Make it super dark. We're gonna make the sucker blurred. Turn the offset off just a little bit. Bring it down to 3. There we go. Looks nice. Nice shadow all around. So, anyway, but yeah, let's do another one. Let's turn this segment override. Let's turn the path bright blue. A nice bright blue color, and because this is happening on top of that, we got to turn off the title visibility. And what happened? Uh-oh, we now lost our title here. So go back to this guy, just do a simple node override. And its node visibility is back. And you can adjust it. You can do up and down with it. Size doesn't matter. I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. And I'm not a huge fan of where this guy's sitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our segment here. And we're actually going to go to our tuning. We're just going to move the segment back just a little bit this way. So you can do that with the segment or the actual section. I did it with the segment because we already tuned what the segment was or section was. So I really, it doesn't really matter. You're just adjusting it, and then we can scale it down just a little bit too. We can make it fit a little better. Right there's a good way to put it. And so, I mean, we can go over. Well, let's go to this point here. Let's do a node override. Let's give it. Let's go to new image. Let's give it the Yeti. And then we'll go back to our one here, node 13. We're gonna call that one Yeti. So now that's going to display on the actual final output itself. So you have the Yeti, and we're going to move his title up and Y just a little bit, up and Y. Yeah, but that's pretty much the base understanding of how to build a theme. When you're done working on your race, what do you do next? You can export. Simple export. Flow map JSON is going to give you your final flow map output. You can do a checkpoint XML output, which is going to replace for the telemetry HUD later, which will be the race HUD. This will be part of an overlay system that you can see. So don't worry about that. This is going to set out what your admin panel is going to use. So once you have that, and then if you want to go back to the theme builder here, once you export for the theme, once you have it here, let's double check it one more time with OBS here. So everything looks good. I'm not concerned about doing any more to it. I mean, this isn't a real theme, but you can set it up however you wish to set up your race. You can do multi-splits. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff, and I'll do a pretty crazy build with it later, but that's the base of it. There's nothing much more you have to do. So once you have that all set up, you're done. Just close out our OBS here. And what you can do is you can say export theme. And what that does, you already have the theme file in the folder. All it does is it just replaces it. So now everything has been updated with the official theme. So now all of your overrides, all of your setups, everything's done. You never had to touch one bit of code here. If I don't currently have a system to delete overrides yet from in the interface, but for now, if there's an override that you want to delete, you can come in here, delete it, save it, done. However, it's just a basic JSON file. You don't have to. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just like if I see like segment overrides. This whole section here is all of our segment stuff, or node overrides. And you know which one you change to, like the Happy Cloud or the Yeti. Like if I want to get rid of the one that was changed to the Yeti, that override, I would just select the whole section here. I can back it off. Let's just say back up to here. Let's say save. Oops, get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, save it out, close it, and then we go in here. We're going to load a theme. Back to our themes here. My first theme. If I hit load again, I hit open. Okay, and our Yeti's gone. See that? It's just that easy. Um, you have full control. There's really no limitation as to what you can do with that with with being able to hand code it as well. Um, but yeah, that's about it. And let's if you go ahead and you don't have to export things because you already have it. And so if you were to pass this file on to somebody else, if you wanted to pass on the whole saved file, um, not just the JSON file, but if you want to give somebody this actual working project, send it to them, send them the themes folder, and all they have to do is hit load theme, and it will connect the theme wherever their files are resting. So that's all that simple. It'll reconnect everything for them, and they're good to go. So you can actually work on this as a group and never have to worry about files getting all crazy and stuff. So yeah. Until next time, where I'll probably be discussing the admin panel, or actually more advanced versions of races. Uh, that's about it. So have fun, and I look forward to seeing some of the races that come of it.